Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to Unwrapped with me, your girl Helen. Hope you've been enjoying our shows. And today, I'm featuring a guest who most of you know as MKV, but now he's Manase. He'll be sharing his story with us. As usual, we like to unwrap things that you also don't know about our guests, things that you didn't know. We're here to unwrap and let you know your favorite people on the other side. But join me on the other side as I chat with Manase. Welcome back. I mentioned earlier that I'll be chatting with Manase. Popular, and most of you know him as MKV, but we call him now Manase because he's a gospel artist now. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yes. Welcome to Silent Studio.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful studio.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been great. I've been blessed. God has been amazing, and yeah, I've been awesome.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. We know you some years back. I know you when you came on the scene with, I don't know, there was a time you used to like wearing long coats. Yeah.
That was my first thing. I think that was my first dress code.
Yeah, so with,
yes,
is it Cabo Velo?
Yes.
Yeah.
That time I think I used to be called MK Voice. Then I reduced it to MKV.
MKV. Okay, I remember watching on Explosion and.
Oh yes.
There's a boot into those days, yeah. But other than that, that's like the MKV that we knew, the Manase that we knew. Well, just tell us a little bit about your background. How was your background like?
Well, I grew up from a family of 6. I grew up in a Christian background. My mom, she's still Catholic. My dad, New Apostolic. So from I grew up going to church in New Apostolic. Then sometimes I would join my mom in the Catholic. So my late sister Judith, she's the one who introduced me to the Pentecostal movement in 1996. I gave my life to God in 96, 97. And 98, the world called me.
But when you say, did you used to sing in church though?
Yes. I used to sing in church in 96, 97, and 98. A friend of mine told me there's going to be a Miss Kablonga. I joined the friend of mine. I won't mention their name, and when I sang at Miss Kablonga, I mean, it was just, the way they, clapped for me, and a lot of people came to say, it sounds like, that time I used to sing like, Boys to Men. So everyone who sang like, in the R&B you'd capture a certain audience, and I think, that is what put me to the secular world, secular music.
Okay, I think on that note we take a break. On this break, I want you to pick any of your music videos that we can show.
Okay, I think we'll start with Naima. Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people have loved the song, so I think Naima would do for the first video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. On this note, we're still chatting with Manase. So join us on the other side. But first, for now, let's check out Naima.
Chikwete vya kutintuli na natulo mweo wandi. If you more wingi, if you lesser, ampela. Chikwete vya kutintuli na natulo mweo wandi. Naima naima, naima natikantule. Chikwete vya kutintule na la tulo mwe chikwete vyakutintule
Welcome back. So that was Manasa with Naima. That's a great song, great video as well.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, who shot the video?
The one who was shooting on the cameras was Menat. Then I edited the video and completed the video. Yeah, so yeah.
Nice, nice. We didn't know that you're talented in those lines as well.
Yeah. I think that is my passion. My passion is to make people look nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're married?
I'm married. For now, there are only 3 kids. For now. Yeah.
There's more coming.
Yeah. There should be more. The Bible says, "Go and multiply."
Yeah.
So I'm using that principle. Yeah, there are 3 kids, but the firstborn is Temwani Kalua. She's 14 years, and my secondborn is Chimwemwe, and she's 7 years.
My namesake.
Yeah.
My middle name is Chimwemwe.
Okay. That's great. My third is Mutende, and he's 4. All of them, they are coming from the scripture.
Yeah.
You know, the fruit of the spirit.
Nice.
And I'm married to a beautiful wife, Alexis. I've been with her for 17 years now. She's amazing, powerful man of God, and without her prayers, I don't think I would have been here. But I thank God that I met her, you know, at the time that I needed a friend. And even when I've been married to her, she's been more than a friend. So I know she's watching. I love you, baby. You're amazing. There's no one like you. No one.
No, I'm making it. Now I want my husband to sing for me. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've heard your testimony when you've shared quite your testimony, but we want you to share your testimony here. But this is my question. You were MKV, and we would see you from the leather coat MKV, who would do a bit of like breakdance. It was like a bit of breakdance. Yeah. Then to the Duduma MKV, and I'm thinking, your wife, how was she handling those dances? Like, was she okay with you dancing like that?
I think this is why I said before that there are very few, you know, wives, you know, out there. I think obviously maybe Shem would hit her once in a while, but you know, from the word go, she accepted who I was. You see what I mean? And she knew what she was getting herself into. So, and I think that's where she got the drive to pray, to be on her knees, because, you know, and she kept on telling me her God to say, look, you know, this is not what we agreed. You need to be tested for you to have a testimony. And I think she went through the test that God gave her. Now she has a testimony, you know. So it's just amazing that God got me through all that with her. I'm still with her. There wasn't any separation, you know. But there was one, you know, post that really hit her. I think it was the Post newspaper that posted something when I was dancing somewhere. I heard a woman in a certain way, and you know, and I think that, you know, hit her so much that she was, you know. But God kept us, and for me, that's the thing. A woman who prays God, there's a God to answer that woman. It doesn't matter the situation, and if your husband drinks, you know, and you're at a place where you want to give up, I'm here to testify to you that where there is a woman who prays to God, there is a God to answer that woman, and God is going to answer you. Yeah, so for me, I think to answer on our behalf, God has just been amazing on our side and on my side. Okay. And I'm here to testify to you also that whatever that you've been going through, God is going to answer you.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. Alrighty, just tell us what happened. Why were we prompted to say, okay, I think I want to give my life to God? What happened?
Okay. Like I said before, I used to be born again in 96 to 98 or so, and I backslidden, and I knew about God. You know, I knew the power of God. You know, and when I decided to go into another path, for me, I think that path allowed me to understand also the things of the world and understand a lot of things. So what simply happened to me is that I used to be addicted to alcohol, and a lot of Zambians wouldn't admit to that, because I would finish a crate in a day, and go to tequila and drink. I would drink, you see, like the way a lot of my fellow friends still drink, and the next morning you would wake up and drink some more. And it becomes a lifestyle, because there's really nothing much to do, especially when you're in the music circles. If your album is out, all you wait for is shows to come.
Yeah.
And of course, when the shows come, you are drinking. You have to have fun, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything around you looks very normal, looks very fine, but it's not. So along my career, I met up different friends. And one thing that I would say, meeting this friend of mine introduced me to this witch doctor. And this witch doctor, very handsome man, yes, very handsome guy. You wouldn't tell when you look at them and say, no, Yini-chan, So, with the Duduma song, I was introduced to him, and the song just came out. 3 days, it was, everywhere, and I was amazed. I was like, wow.
What did you do? What did you do?
A lot, everyone, was the things that people do, the bathing and the believing, and for me,
I want to know. I want to hear what you're going to say.
I was introduced to it in a way that you would bath, medicine, and the song, the bed that sings loud, you are going to attract a lot of people to hear your sound, that kind of thing. And through that, I saw that actually there is power. You see what I mean? For me, I saw that in 3 days, that song from nowhere, everyone was talking about it. I had shows, the shows that I wasn't, and I need to tell you that through this this process, I was closed up. I wasn't opening up to anyone, whatever I'm going through. You understand? So meaning that a lot of people may be seeing that, MKV, Muntu, MKV, but you don't know that you've reached the place where you're closed up, and you're allowing anything that is negative to come in and speak to you. And when it does, you're convinced that this is it.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And for me, that was it. I gave up on a lot of things, but without people knowing that. You see, and that's what alcohol can do. Because the more you drink, the more you do it, or the more whatever you abuse, it has control over your life. Yeah. And for me, I think I reached the place where that thing had control over me. I think I became worse. Instead of going up, going up, things just became,
Stagnant.
yeah. And it was like any other day.
Sorry to cut you short. Did you share with your wife to say I went to see a witch doctor?
No. This is what I'm saying. I was so closed up that nobody knew. When I mean nobody knew, it was just a friend of mine who knew that this is, even for her, it was a shock. You see. So it was like any other day. This was a Tuesday. I went home, only drank two castle, and when I reached home, met with my 2 daughters that time. My wife, we ate. In the night, I passed on. And on the other side, I could see my life now, the way I was born on earth, and everything I did. You see, and everything I did, I could see that. And this angel in front of me wasn't saying anything, and things were pulling me behind, and I was trying to understand what's going on until I saw my own, funeral being put thing. It's like I'm in someone's body. I'm asking. I said, "What has happened?" I said, "Mumangalifa," and I'm wondering. I said, "But," and now those things on the other side started pulling me and pushing me, and this angel kept on coming, and in different forms, not the way people draw angels, but the light was in a different way. Every time it will be brighter, and I could see that my energy is ending, and it's like I can't breathe anymore. And I was crying. I said, "Give me a chance so that I go and say bye to my daughter Chimwemwe," because at that time my daughter was only about 2 or 1, So I'm at that place and I'm asking. I say, "Please just give me a chance to to go back and do that. And I'm crying, but nothing was happening, and until at the end, the angel disappeared and those things behind pulled me. And it's like I was being torn, and I saw that this is it. There's there's nothing I could do. And, I've lived my life. I've been in sin. So this is where I'm going. It's like judgment has just come on me. And the angel came at the end. And when he came, the warmth of the place changed. You see, where I was and even those things that were pulling me, a bit, stopped. And he said, many have come here. What makes you think when you go back you shall remember here? Then I said, I'm going to remember, because I was that place I wanted just to come back, to breathe, and he says it won't be easy. When you go back, people will doubt that you've reached here, and said, you're at a place where you know that I just need to go back, and I was crying. And he said, he came closer and gave me a garment and a pair of sandals. And when I came back, I was outside my gate, took off the garment, and I breathed. And when I breathed, my wife was actually close to me, and she's saying, you're cold. And my legs were already cold. I said, bring my daughters. And because I was scared, I was thinking I'll go back. I said, bring them here, bring them here. And that was the first time my daughters saw me cry. So I embraced them and I told my wife, you know what? I'm changing my life, and I'm moving from this life. This is not the life. Guess what? In the afternoons, I was back drinking alcohol. In the next day, I was drinking Western. I was drinking before. And that was a Thursday. Friday, I was out with my friends, came back home, I think around 020 thing. I promised my wife, I said, I'm changing, but there was nothing, there was no change. Yeah. Saturday came, I promised the Sunday I'll go down for church. There was nothing like that. You see, in the afternoons of Sunday, something manifested, something weird. I've never touched or pushed my wife. But that day, I pushed her and drove the car outside the house, so speed, I don't know what was going on. Along arcades going to Manda Hill, I stopped breathing in my car, and then I remembered what happened to me. I started failing to open the windows. Nothing was happening, until I parked my car at the police station, and luckily there were police friends there, and they helped me to drive the car to my mom's place in Olympia. And now demons manifested. I could jump the wall fence without touching it, and now I'm unconscious, and nobody is seeing. Everyone is seeing this, but I'm not, but something kept on pulling me back to my mom's place. You see, until pastors came, Pastor C and Pastor Evans came to pray, and they prayed for 3 hours praying, and they had to tie me so that I don't run away, and it was through that also I am thinking to myself, what is going on? They said I would speak Bemba, a deep Bemba, which I don't, like really typical Bemba. Yeah. So as they are manifesting, these pastors keep on praying, and until after 3 hours, I came back to my conscious. I was taken, that wasn't enough. I was taken now to the hospital, on and off, 3 days, oxygen. It was in there, then I started thinking about my life. I said, you know what? I think this is God calling me. But I've told my wife several times about this, that I'm changing. So she's obviously the place where she's saying, I've heard this before. That's my beautiful wife over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, when I come out of the hospital, I visited Love and Mercy Ministries. The first time, I think it was boring. For me, it was too noisy. And the second time I'm going there, they're praying for the offerings, and I heard God to say, son, I'm calling. And I got up and walked to the altar, and they were praying for the offerings. And I think the pastor knew that this guy needs to give his life to God, and I gave my life to God. I gave up my number for MKV. I gave up my accounts, everything about MKV. I wrote to radio stations to stop playing my songs. And anything that was of MKV, I just wanted to be buried, because I could see what God has done in my life. And I would tend now to tell somebody, for me to show my scars like this is not to ask for fame. I had fame when I was MKV. That was the fame. You could walk in the roads and people would be crying for you. I'm reaching out to say hell is real, heaven is real, and God is calling you to a place where you're going to have intimacy with Him. You're going to have a relationship with Him, and it is through that we'll enter heaven. So, my testimony, I pray that it reaches to somebody out there, and somebody is going just to have an encounter with God, not with the pastor, but with God. And that's what somebody needs. Aren't you tired? You've tried with your own strength, nothing is changing. You've drunk, people have broken your heart, but nothing is changing. The God that I am serving, that we'll be serving together, is calling you to a place where you're going to have a proper encounter with God. Amen.
Nice. All right, I think on that note, we need to take a break. Okay, on that note, I think we take a break, and we're still chatting with Manase. I think I'm enjoying the testimony, and you need to stay tuned and hear more after this break. Welcome back. So I'm still chatting with Manase, and we've heard his testimony. So touching, so interesting. I hope we're learning from what he's telling us right now. Okay, your first album after you turned gospel was My Testimony?
Yes, when I gave my life to God, it took me about 2 years. My pastor told me to sit down. There was no way for me to sing gospel songs if I don't have a relationship with Christ. So the first thing he wanted me to go through is counseling, and he started mentoring me, and he also started teaching me a sound of heaven, because there's a sound of earth and there's a sound of the kingdom. So he started teaching me how to go about the sound, how to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, and how to bring people into the presence of God. Not just to sing, but to bring them into the presence of God, so that they have one-on-one with God. For Christ, that's what He did, And after 2 years, I started working on my project, my first project, which was My Testimony. Like you've heard my testimony, So in the first project, you hear about all, what I've talked about. And now,
the Nakonka video.
yes, Nakonka Yesu, it's simply, denying who I was and who I've become. So in my second project, it's called Set Apart. God is setting you and I apart from things that we've, if you've been addicted. I used to be addicted to alcohol. I used to be addicted to masturbation. I used to be addicted to a lot of things, the eye, looking, So for God to deliver me, so that I become, the righteousness of God, the holiness of God, through music. I'm here to worship God with you. So in this Set Apart album, it's helping somebody out there who is failing to have an encounter with God, not with man but with God. So in the songs you'll find that it is giving you the access that you need to get to God.
Okay, we'll talk about your launch when we come back, just when we are closing. But for now, I want you to pick another music video that we can show.
Okay, the next video I think I'll pick up, it's Take Me Deeper.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's check out Take Me Deeper.
Just your touch, oh God, is all I need. Just one word, oh God, is all I need. Just your presence, oh God, is all I need to see me through, to see me through. to see me through, to see me through. Just your touch, oh God, is all I need. Just one word, oh God, is all I need. Just your presence, oh God, is all I need to see me through, to see me through, to see me through, to see me through. Take me deeper, take me deeper, oh God, take me deeper, take me deeper, oh God, take me deeper, take me deeper, oh God, take me deeper, take me deeper, yes, oh God, let's worship. Take me further, take me further, God, take me further, oh God. Take me further, take me further, take me further. Oh, I love what you're doing to me, Jesus. Take me deeper, take me deeper. I'm all yours, Jesus. Take me further, take me further. Oh yeah, take me deeper, take me deeper, take me further, take me further. Oh, I'm yours, oh God. Oh, I'm yours, oh God. Oh, I'm yours, oh God. Take me deeper, take me deeper, take me deeper, take me deeper, take me further, take me further, take me further, oh God. I'm yours, oh God. I'm yours, oh God. I can see revival, revival, revival.
Welcome back. So that was Take Me Deeper by Manase. Manase, we're coming to the end of the show. I really enjoyed myself.
Thank you. I've enjoyed being here, and I pray that somebody has been blessed out there.
Yeah. So before I let you go, I want you to look into that camera and talk to your followers. Just talk to them last words, and also tell them about where the launch will be and when it will be.
Okay. Thank you for your support, your love. My launch for Set Apart is going to be at Hotel Intercontinental on the 3rd of November. So it's just around the corner. So I'm looking forward to just worshiping with you, and just come along and just let God be God in your life, and I know that God is just going to touch you in a different way. Yeah. So thank you for having me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for having me.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has been your girl Hellen on Unwrapped. I hope you enjoyed this episode like the other episode that we bring for you. Today we had Manase. I think we had a lot to learn from him, especially spiritually. I think a lot of us overlook certain things and we just don't know where they drag us to. So let's learn from that. And you remember, we're going to upload this show on our YouTube channel. You can watch it as many times as possible, but also subscribe, watch and subscribe. Like our Facebook page, Unwrapped with Hellen. From me, your girl Hellen, and the entire Rap crew. Bye-bye.